everyone, I'm Kate Quickel, host of Broad and High on WOSU TV, and I am here with Columbus musician Theo Perry to talk about life as a musician in the age of COVID. Hi, Theo. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's so great to meet new musicians and catch up with people during this time. How has the pandemic affected you as a musician? How have you been kind of adapting to all of this?
Well, similar answers I'm sure that you're hearing from other musicians. This is my lifeline. This is my lifeblood. This is what I do. So for me, not only the financial aspect that comes along with the lost gigs and the lost wages, but also just the creative outlet a little bit. But we have been able to stay creative during this time, and that's kind of helping the mentality part for me.
What have been some things that you've been inspired by or things you've been taken by surprise?
Oh man, things as far as like taken by surprise is just the good that we can, see in humanity. I'm a big fan of The Office, so I don't know if you guys have seen John Krasinski's
Yes, some good
Good
news.
News. Oh my
I
gosh,
cry every time I watch it.
yeah, that's been great. Just having a little bit of positivity in times of a lot of what seems to be negative has been great.
I've seen that you've done like solo performances live on Facebook. Like that's really fun. Have you gotten a lot of good feedback from that, or has it been kind of cool to try these different avenues for performing?
I'd say for sure. A buddy of mine, Chris Shaw, recently said something that I thought was very poignant, and that, like, sometimes we play in some environments where, when it's not like a traditional venue, a lot of us play in the traditional venues, down to restaurants, down to, house concerts and house shows. So at each different level of venue that we play, we're going to have different levels of attention, right? So like if I'm playing in like a loud bar or like a loud restaurant, then you'll have a faction of people who are tuned into what you've got going on, and that those are the ones that you kind of lean into, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you do find yourself competing with occasionally some of the video screens or whatever is happening at
Yeah.
the time. But when we're doing these live show broadcasts on the on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever platform we're doing them on, we do get that dedicated attention in that situation. So it's kind of like a blessing and a curse situation going on there.
Because you're kind of in a vacuum. Like you, even now, like we're not really together. It's weird. You feel
Mhm.
like you're alone, but so many people are getting something out of it. So that's got to be kind of a plus.
Yeah, it's a struggle. Like I think just the staring at the device part of it.
The
I think for me,
screen.
just right, just to get over that hurdle, because even before when I would, kind of be at a show and I might have like a live broadcast thing going on, at some angle, but I'm not necessarily forced to staring at that. My attention is on those who are in front of me, right? So uh, it has been a little bit, more challenging just handling that aspect of it. It's a little different.
You've performed in bands, but also as a solo artist. What do you like most about each of those styles, and where do you kind of gravitate?
For me, it's kind of like multi-course meals. I
That's
think if I
a good way
can
to
put
put
it in
it.
those terms.
Yeah.
So each part of the meal has something that is delicious and that you can kind of have excitement to. So I have a lot of enjoyment from playing in large bands up to like 10 plus people on stage, but I also have enjoyment on just playing solo acoustic shows because I can kind of have certain liberties there, and you're the guy in that situation, right? So you don't have toes to potentially step on, but you also what you lose in that scenario is you can't musically communicate with the other people on stage, and that's something that I feel like has been a little bit, for the most part, I think, a hurdle during this time. For me, just the musical conversations that us musicians can have on stage together in a live environment are unparalleled. There's some greatness that occurs when we can do that, and I'm excited about when we can figure out a way to do that naturally again in public. But in the meantime, yeah, we've all been, going in our creative toolboxes and figuring out ways to continue to keep the magic going.
On that note, what can we as audience members do to support musicians, and what are you doing to kind of support your fellow musicians during this time?
All the different followings, all the different liking, all the different sharings still matter during this time, especially when you see a musician pop up and do a live broadcast. When I'm not doing a live broadcast and I see one, I share it. Tipping has been great, for those
Yeah.
who've been tipping via Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, whatever the artist is telling you their avenue might be. But also just some of the usual things. It still matters during this time of relevancy, I feel like. is the battle that a lot of us are facing. So we want to make sure we're not only still creating content, but then figuring out different avenues to get that content out to the people. Also, merch shops have never really closed on people's websites.
True, yeah.
So if people can go to their different prospective band page or band websites, they can still buy some great merch items there.
So as we're getting into the summer and festival season is not happening the way we wanted it to, what are some of your favorite memories of Arts Fest and kind of other of those outdoor performances that we're missing out on this year?
I've got so many over the years. I mean, I will definitely consider myself fortunate over the years, having been able to play Arts Fest with Theo's Loose Hinges, with the Floorwalkers. I've played it with Andy Shaw over the years. I've played it with Jason Quickel. I'd say like some of my favorite memories that stand out would be just in general, one thing that holds true is just the people.
Hmm.
Just seeing bodies in front of the stage, engaging in what we're throwing out to the air there for them, and just getting that response. It's instant gratification in a lot of ways that we are having a delayed sense these days, right? So for me, like I enjoy, just like I mentioned, just the musical conversations earlier that we can have on stage with prospective musicians and our colleagues that are on stage with us. It's the same thing for audience interaction. They kind of feed into the music. Like if they're enjoying it, we're enjoying
Right.
it.
It's a
They kind
two-way
of egg
street,
us on to
yeah.
play. Exactly. We play a little bit better, I feel like, when people are into it.
So what's bringing you joy these days? Where are you finding those little spots of happiness?
I've always found joy in creating and recording and writing and performing. So whatever avenue of that I can do does bring me joy. So things
Mhm.
that I've been excited about is, we played on your show as the Flowwalkers, a new song called Your Way. And I thought that was a great song in general. So that was one of the ways that song kind of came through with John asking me, yeah, this is the kind of vibe I'm looking for. So I was able to kind of, you know, multi-track some instruments for that song and send it out to him. And I was like, kind of fingers crossed he liked it, kind of deal, right? And he did. And then we created a song around that. And I thought that was fantastic. But a similar thing is true for Theo's Loose Hinges. We've got a few new songs that we're also remotely recording during this time. And it gets back to the file sharing thing and kind of gaining joy from the fact that some of the stuff that I'm sending out to my musical partners, if they enjoy it, it's great, because we're not only in it together, but at the same time we're kind of like hoping that our musical opinions
Yes, line
can
up.
align, right?
Hmm.
So there's added cheer to that when it's a win. Like not every
Yeah,
song I write will be a winner. I'm very aware of that, right? So
right.
and then there's also been this extra, you know, afforded time that we've had with the
Mhm.
lots of gigs too. So inspiration and writing has been coming a little bit more frequently again, and that's kind of that always feels like great, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of life busyness that gets in the way sometimes of getting back to
Mhm.
doing that.
It sounds like you've really got the creative juices flowing even in this time, and that's so impressive, and you have such a positive outlook. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I have the lows just like everyone else does too, but my faith has been helping during this time as well. Um, and I have been able to still be able to pre-record some church service stuff, so that's been kind of great too, to be able to go and do that, because I also worship lead out in Hilliard at a church called Guide Church, and so that's been, it's all been helping,
And you're
and
busy. You got a lot going on.
yeah, and just trying to do as much as I can with the time that I have. But like all of a sudden, it's like you're also like a stay-at-home dad kind of,
Yes.
and it's just like, I mean, we're actually cooking all of our meals right now. We haven't done that in forever. So
Right?
yeah, there's a lot of positivity happening, and just
Good.
the closeness that you get during these times with your family
Mhm.
is kind of a perk of the situation. You can
Right.
also drive each other nuts. I get that aspect
Very
too.
true.
So I mean, again, highs and lows,
Yeah.
but we've been blessed with still a place to live, and
Mhm.
we're grateful for that.
Well, it has just been a delight talking to you. I really appreciate it, and we'll just have to wait till next year to see you live at Arts Fest.
Yeah, fingers crossed, right?
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I know that a lot of festivals have, along with Arts Fest, that we would maybe be playing at this year, have had to cancel, postpone, or
Yeah.
eventually inevitably cancel. So yeah, just thank you for continue to support the local music scene by doing what you're doing even right now.
Thanks so much, Theo.
Thank you.